further to speak of developing such a vision, we look at the example of Prahlad Maharaj, who had this vision, of course. When Hiranyakashipu asked him that, can you see, like, where's your Lord? You see that he is everywhere. Is he really everywhere? And Prahlad Maharaj is convinced. He is not thinking. It's not like Prahlad Maharaj is preaching. And like us, he's then thinking, okay, this is what I say usually, but let me think a while before answering this question. No. He's convinced because the vision is realized in his heart. He says, yes, he is everywhere. But remember, Hiranyakashipu is also equally convinced because he personally supervised construction of the courtroom. He knows which brick is where in the pillar, which is... So he asked this question, do you think he is in this pillar? And then Prahlad Maharaj says, yes. And out comes Nrsingadev. And what to speak of then the vision? Prahlad Maharaj could see him inside the pillar, and Hiranyakashipu cannot see him even upon taking the darshan. He's still baffled, who is this? Like a half lion, half man, I still cannot comprehend what is that. So even upon taking the darshan, Hiranyakashipu still doesn't have the vision to recognize the Lord. And do we also have those tendencies to not recognize the Lord? Are we 100% convinced that this deity here is Krishna? Are we 100% sure that this Bhagavatam is Krishna? Prasadam is Krishna? So this vision, but then there's a good news. Remember, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said two things: regular treatment, abhyas, and the care of expert physician. So we are under the care of Srila Prabhupada. Furthermore, if we look at Prahlad Maharaj and his vision, so he could see Krishna in everything, like in pillar also. And he could see the hand of Krishna in every situation. So he did not have a tipping point. Like we all have some threshold that this is what my threshold is, this is what my boundary is, this is how much I can tolerate. But Prahlad Maharaj has no such tipping point. Why is that? And he has a father who is so powerful and so knowledgeable also. We often think of demons as they would not have any knowledge. But if we look at the example of Ravan, if we look at Hiranyakashipu, if we look at Kansa, they know the verses and purports by heart. So often we overload our heads with a lot of information, but it fails to reach our heart. So we become PhDs in the head, but kindergarten at heart. And that's why with that kindergarten conditioning of the heart, we respond to the situations. The famous Shiva Stotram, Shivatandav Stotram, Jatatavi Galajala. Who composed that? I was very impressed when in my childhood I used to listen to this stotram. It used to be so energizing, it used to be very nice. I was like, wow. And I was equally shocked when I came to know that this famous Shiva Tandav Stotram was composed by Ravana. So this was their acumen, scriptural acumen we are talking about. But the difference is, he failed to recognize, he failed to have this darshan that this verse talks about. Whereas Prahlad Maharaj, he wasn't afraid. All the demigods used to shiver when they would even realize that Hiranyakashipu has even moved his eyebrow. Eyebrow is a very small part on the face. Not even a word uttering or nothing like that. Just on the movement of the eyebrow of Hiranyakashipu, demigods would shiver out of fear. But Prahlad Maharaj wasn't afraid. Why is that? Because he could see the hand of God. He could realize that whatever is coming to me, it's sanctioned by the Lord. So like that, when we look at certain situations, when we look at certain encounters in our life, when we look at the experiences, we can then think of them as, okay, if someone has spoken to me bitterly, that is sanctioned by the Lord. Probably the Lord wants to give me some feedback. Shri Radha Gokulananda Bhagavan ki jai. And similarly, if something good happens to us, so even that person is again inspired by the Paramatma in the heart to convey that reciprocation to you. So everything like that, we can see that it's Krishna's divine hand in that situation, in that person, in that experience stored for us. So we looked at the goal. The goal was, okay, to develop such a vision wherein we can see the Lord everywhere. We looked at the challenges. What were the challenges to this goal? What does Arjun say? Yes, it's not practical. It's unendurable. And the reason he gives is because of the restless mind. So the goal we looked at the challenges. And then what was the solution that Krishna gave? Yes, Krishna gave the solution, suitable practice and detachment. And what can suitable practice be? Regular hearing and chanting of the names of the Lord. What about hearing? Why? His Holiness Keshav Maharaj was saying that he was once asked this question as to why should I believe in God when I have not seen him? And then he said, have you heard about him? Have you heard about his name? Have you heard about his qualities? Have you heard about what he looks like, how he dances, what his pastimes are, how he reciprocates with his devotees, or anyone in this world rather? Have you heard about all of that? So if you haven't heard about him, how would you develop that vision to see him? So to have this vision, we have to recognize the hand, the divine hand in everyday experience of our lives. So we looked at the goal, we looked at the challenges, we looked at the solution, and now there must also be some call for action. So what can that call of action be? So when you go home today, you can think about that the year that just went by, 2023, how many times there were such experiences, there were such encounters with certain people in your life that you felt that this wasn't simply because you willed it. It was because there was a divine power arranged it. So your call for action can be to note that and think about that. Because before you see the hand of God, before you see the face of God, you see the hand of God in everything and everywhere. Thank you. Any thoughts or questions? Anything that you want to add? Or have any questions? Yes, please.